Oh, oh, you bit me. Oh, you bit my toe. Oh, my poor toe, that's not fair. I didn't try and hurt you, you know, did I?
Ah, boy, here we go.
Okay, so a few months ago, I did a review on the anime Kimba the White Lion, pretty extensively. I've talked about the characters, the story, the animation, and, well, basically everything about it, and gave it a decent praise for what it is at the time. And I still think it is a very good show. But now we got the sequel, Leo the Lion.
I'm a vegetarian.
No, not that one. No, come on, the anime. Thank you. Before I go into talking about the show, I want to make this clear that I did not watch the Japanese version of this, and only watched the English dub. So if I come across as overly critical, then that's probably why. To be fair, I didn't watch the original Japanese dub for Kimba the White Lion either, but again, this still affects my opinion. Anyway, Leo the Lion is indeed a direct sequel to Kimba the White Lion, starting its airing in 1966. And unlike said predecessor, Osamu Tezuka had complete control over where the series went, without any co-producers this time. I'll go over this a bit more later. Speaking of, the way I'm reviewing this will be splitting it up into sections like before. Story structure, characters, animation, voice talent, world building, and artwork. But, given that this is a sequel, I'm including continuity too. Every sequel is going to have this extra baggage. So, what do I think? Is this good? Is this bad? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Alright, the story. This is the first thing that makes this different in many ways from the prequel, and other adaptations for that matter. First of all, while Kimba the White Lion had 52 episodes to work with, Leo the Lion only has 26. Which I guess would explain why nobody really knows this as well. This means that whatever story it wants to tell has less time to do it, and they have to pack a bit more in with each episode, for better or worse. As I mentioned, Osamu Tezuka had complete control over where this series went. So that would mean that this series is a lot more honed in on the manga adaptation, whereas Kimba the White Lion, well, didn't. For the first 4 episodes, it basically sets up what we're getting ready for. Showing Leo basically, well, doing things. There's not too much connections between these. And from there, it focuses on Leo's son, Rune. More on him later. The main story still holds true to the themes presented before, animals trying to survive with human conflict. But instead of building the whole animal civilization thing, which by this point has been done, it focuses on how Rune, Leo's son, is growing up and learns to be the next in line for, you know, King of the Jungle. In fairness, it handles both of these pretty decently, often with both of these plots mixing between each other. Here's the thing though. This series is not aimed for kids, at least not in the way you think. That means a number of things. More violence, more blood, and a lot more death. Kimba the White Lion did indeed have death scenes in the original dub, yes, but the English dub of that often writes them off so the characters aren't dead in order to keep it for the audience. None of that happens here. And it almost seems that every single one-off character is either forgotten or killed off. Now, to be fair, this dub does indeed keep to the tone to the Japanese original without anything sugarcoating. But at the same time...
Oh, Dr. Sugi!
Yeah. Alright, Now we got our first problem. Continuity. No, I'm not talking about it in its own show. It handles it just as fine as Kimba the White Lion did, if not a little better since the story is more coherent. No, I'm talking about comparing Leo the Lion to Kimba the White Lion. And you know the very first one? Like, the very second it goes off the rail? In the theme song.
From the zoo to the jungle, with a roar and a mighty rumble.
Nope, you're not watching an alternate Kimba the White Lion intro. This is indeed the Leo the Lion English dub opening, with not a single scene from the show. Don't get me wrong, the song itself is okay, but this theme song is nothing but lies. You say the hyenas cause trouble? Where the heck are they? And where the heck is Claw? He never shows up in this series once. I can't tell you why, but the real footage of the theme song from the original Japanese version is used for the end credits instead. And ironically, the ending theme song is more suited to the show than the intro is.
Come to our rescue.
If both of these songs were used for a later dubbing of Kimba, this would all be fine. The second one, and it still kinda bugs me, is the names of everybody. All of the characters, I have no idea why, no longer have an English name change, and now stick to their original character names. Kimba is now Leo, Kitty is now Leia, Bucky is now Tommy, Polly is now Coco, you get the point. This would all be fine and good if they didn't address the English name.
And in a sense, I was that way too. I was the little white cub that didn't want to fight. My name was Little Coward, or in the language of animals, Kimba.
Okay, first off, Panja, you suck. Name your cub Coward. Secondly, why? What prompted this? What made every single character change their names so fast? If it were only Leo that changed his name as he grew up, that would be just fine, but nope. Everyone has to follow suit for no reason at all. And by the way, apparently Leo was called Kimba as an adult too, so that makes the reasons for his name change even more contrived. And while on that matter, remember all those things they built before? The restaurant, the big tribute to Caesar, the post office? Yeah, they're gone. Remember all those seemingly important characters before, such as Speckle Rex, Boss Rhino, or Leone, Kimba's sister? Yeah, they're gone too. Oh wait, here's one. Remember when all the animals can talk to humans? Yeah, that didn't happen apparently, because only Leo can talk to humans now. The only thing carried over from what I know is the farm. And even then, it's only addressed one time in the first episode, and they don't do a thing with it afterwards. This is the worst thing any sequel can do, and that's ignore everything the first series did to tell its own story, which sadly is exactly what happened here. So now let's go on to the cast. Since there's not as many episodes, there's not as many new characters that show up this time around, especially if they're one-offs. Though, in its credit, the characters still keep true to how they were before and how the dub handles them now. Kind of. We got Leo the Lion himself, which arguably is now my favorite character. He still holds true to being a good leader, though a bit more forceful in his interpretation of it. But I jot that up simply to discipline to his subjects and the new pressures he has to deal with. This is shown a number of times, but it doesn't truly go that far. However, in this series, the supporting cast barely does anything now. Tommy, Coco, and Mandy don't show up most of the time. And the times they do, well, you could write them out and it will stay the same, really. At least Mandy is still written alright, but Coco and Tomy are strictly comic relief and nothing else. There's more scenes with them bickering with each other than they are actually helping. There are characters though that give a bit more screen time to, and that goes to Laia and Pagula. Laia is a great support to her family, and while she is very caring and not as strong as Leo, she will get her word in if things get out of hand, showing that she does have a bit of assertiveness to her. Pagula too is given more time to show his good nature. In the last series, he's shown as just another obstacle for Kimba to deal with his hatred towards humans as a big factor. This time, he is a lot less aggressive and a lot more supportive. Well, sure, he threatened Rune at one point, but that's about as far as it gets, and I'm convinced it's only for the manga adaptation and nothing more. As for the new characters, we got Rune and Rukio. Both cubs are alright in their own way, Rune being the main focus of the whole growing up to become king thing. Rune is a more headstrong cub, still willing to help others when they need it, though more bullheaded about it. Rukio is just Rukio, kind-hearted, friendly, and supportive. Not a bad character. Boring, maybe, but not bad. Also, there's Rune's friends, Lolo the chameleon and Peck the baby parrot. Lolo and Peck basically become Tomy and Coco, to sum it up, lending their support to Rune whenever he needed it. Well, kind of. Again, not too much, but still good in their own way. Then... Bizo. Easily the most hated character in the entire show. He's annoying, his voice is degrading, and he never helps anyone, only making the problem worse for his own amusement. As for the one-offs, well, like I said, they're either forgotten about or just flat out killed off, so there's hardly any that can stay alive to really explore. Some don't even last a gosh darn minute. Not saying they're badly written, well, okay, not all of them. Some do count, but more or less they offer little at the end of the day.